Jimmy Butler dropped 56 on the Bucks, and this is what happened. I went back to read the comments from when Jimmy Butler dropped 56 on the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs. Paganator says that was an all-time carry job. I don't give a blank if it's only the first round. That performance is going to be an iconic one that everyone who watched it is going to remember. Yeah, that performance by Jimmy was out of this world. One of the top playoff performances I've ever seen. Not a fan, one, says people should give a blank that it's the first round since they're the 8th seed. Technically, they're facing the strongest team in the conference right now. Peter Garza says, not just the conference, Bucks had the best record in the league. Summer Goal said, it's insane that an 8th seed is one game away from knocking out the consensus best team in the league. I think most people knew the Heat wouldn't be the easiest out, but who really thought this was going more than 5 after Heat lost to the Hawks? Prancing Donkey says, we may be legitimately be witnessing, we believe, number 2. Shin Gray said, from the 4-minute onwards in the 4th was probably some of the most hype blank I've ever watched. Heat check after heat check gave me goosebumps. Douglas, 33, said when he hit that and one layup and made that face, it's actually insane that it was real life. They were down 6 and he was going to the line. He was like, nah, I ain't star, said. That was the moment I knew we were about to see some special blank. Jimmy felt the takeover coming. Mark Soar, 13, said, Jimmy getting blank buckets. Things are afoot. They referred to him by the following name, Jimmy Butler. Tuxedo Cat 1357 says, or simply him. Year of the Mishaya, whatever that is, said, to me, that's cinema. Novel Durian 1805 said some of the legendary Hall of Fame Heat players, D-Wade, LeBron, Shaq, Zoe, Bosh, none of them did what Jimmy has now done. That's why he's playoff Jimmy. I know some people are down on Jimmy, but listen, this man is insane when the playoffs roll around. Affectionate year 14, I feel bad for Joel, now had to deal with 3 more years of Benjamin instead of playing with prime Jordan. Ben Simmons is catching strays in all of these in so many of these videos. Sorry, Ben. The kid Frankie 2 said, Tobias Harris over me? Jake D. Ripper said, I will never be able to get over Philly fumbling that situation, and I'm a Raptors fan. Scuderia Enzo said, do not scroll past without typing Jimbo. Ex-companion Cube said Jimbo. Plum Cantaloupe, it's a name, said, man, Butler, those rumors of him being Jordan's illegitimate son are getting tougher to shake. Fiery, no, I was right the first time. Fiery Scribe, top 1% commenter, good for you, said illegitimate, he's legitimately MJ's son now, at least in my heart. Corinne Boy said, we had this guy, Sixers had him too, all-time fumble. Cactus Jack 1 said, I just witnessed history, baby. HZG Zeros said, people are missing the most impressive part of this statistic that is so quintessentially Butler. He has the most points ever scored in the modern era in a win against the 1 seed. Jordan's game was a loss. Baylor's game was in the finals against the 1 seed Celtics pre-ABA merger, and all other 56-plus point games were not against the 1 seed. Biggest stage, hardest opponent, and Jimmy sets the record while getting the win with 21 in the 4th. That's an incredible narrative. Feel free to borrow it from me again, ESPN. Jimmy deserves it. Pargo fan said Jordan was also in double overtime. He had 54 in regulation. If Chicago were slightly better or worse, he would have ended with 54. The deleted account said, I wish the Sixers could sign a player like that. Logical Long 2569 said they might skip the blank test and go right to the DNA test. Zwingle said scientists confirming that the dog DNA in John A. 3531 said all dog team. PG, Ant. Shooting guard, Josh Hart. Small forward, Jimmy Buckets, sorry. Power forward, PJ Tucker. And center, Mitchell Robinson. Edited based on suggestions below. So this guy clearly added in some people because I see some people said Mitchell Robinson and PJ Tucker. I see Looney off the bench over here. Shout out to Kevon Looney. He is so underrated. Not reading your name says Jimmy B is him. Anonymous 5000303 said, I really can't think of another player in the NBA who can do what Jimmy does during the playoffs and completely carry his entire team. Earth Warping said him, LeBron, and Steph. This thing is cutting it off, sorry, but I think they said they're the best playoff performers in the league. Crazy Hawk 28 says, I remember when he only played defense. They grow up so quick. T Drip 25 said, same blank with Kawhi. What is it with former defensive only wings being all-time playoff performers? Nug Badger said, Himmy Butler. Original Profile 8600 said, Top 1% commenter, good for you, said Himmy Bucket. Jeff Teague, number one enemy. Uh-oh, Jeff Teague. Don't let him see this. He's got a podcast. He will call you out. Unreal how he has become an all-timer in the playoffs. Just a special player when the calendar strikes April. Not reading your name said, look at MJ's son, man. Kyle Freeland said, I didn't think he would top his first quarter performance today, and he did it. In the same blank game. Wow. Silvery Blank said, what a masterclass by Jimmy. All-time performance. Deleted account says, go speak to Rachel Nichols. Alfalfa Alflafla. That's the name. Said, call him Jimmy E.T. because he erased the Bucks tonight. Deleted account says, Jimmy Butler at 33 years old just set the Heat playoff scoring record. I have run out of adjectives for this dude. Fast Bird said, which is crazy when you realize Dwayne Hall of Fame Wade is on that list. The Asian Theory says LeBron too. Serge U 123 said, top 1% commenter, good for you, said that was Jimmy Butler's this is my house moment. 302 Born said, I believe he said this is my blank. LMAO blank. Jimmy, this is absolutely your blank, man. Kid Clutch Trey 5 said Jimmy descended a Michael Jordan Butler. Landed on this. Mediocre Diva Main said, I unironically have tears in my eyes because of Jimmy Butler's masterclass. One of the most beautiful things I have seen on this sport. 302 Born is back and said, dude, I genuinely don't remember the last time a game gave me this much emotion. I felt like crying watching him will us to winning. Just unbelievable performance that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Bye!